Hey, what's going on? This is Sarah Lee Day with another episode of Dubsado Tidbits, the things you need to know about Dubsado delivered in bite-sized pieces. Last time we started talking about forms, and we've covered contracts and sub-agreements so far. Today we're going to move on to questionnaires. Now, questionnaires is actually a little bit of a misnomer because yes, you can definitely ask questions in your questionnaire, but you can also use questionnaires to deliver information to your clients, and you don't have to actually collect any information in the form. So for example, ways that you can use this are a questionnaire to get to know your customers, get to know your clients, to collect information about a project, or any other survey questions, a feedback form, anything that you need to ask questions, you can definitely use a questionnaire. But on the flip side, you could also use this as a welcome packet to give information to your client about how you operate, your communication, your office hours, all of that information that's important, you can actually put into a questionnaire and send that to your clients through Dubsado. Now, when creating a questionnaire, you want to start off by giving it a name. This name is client-facing, so you want to make sure that it's a name that will make sense to your clients and it's not some random internal form name. You have several different building blocks over here, which we'll actually talk about these in more detail in a future episode. But you have lots of different options for ways that you can ask questions, types of information you can collect, types of elements that you can add. It's very dynamic and it's very customizable so that you can make it exactly what you need for your business. This questionnaire is set up with several different features and functions. You've got images, you've got a video embedded, you've got text, lots of different questions. This is actually a column, 2 columns here. Now under settings, you can set an expiration date for this form. So whenever you send this to your client, you can make sure that they complete it in a specific amount of time based on this expiration date. This can be relative to the job start date, job end date, or as soon as you apply this form to the job. This could be a fixed date expiration. So if there's a fixed date in the future that you want to make sure that this form expires on, you can set that as well. You just use a little calendar, choose your date and the time to expire it, or you can choose no expiration. Next, you have question styling. There are several different default fonts you can choose, and these are going to be the default for your questions. Default font size, you can select that here. Default color, you can use the color picker, or if you know the hex code of whatever color you want to use as your default, you can type that in. On questionnaires, you actually also have the option of changing the default submit button and what that says. So instead of just being boring and saying submit, you could do something like let's go, or let's get started, or yes please, or whatever makes sense for the form and kind of the personality of your brand. You can set that there. Completion alert. So as soon as your client fills out the questionnaire and hits that submit or let's go button, it's going to pop up with a window that has a message, and you can customize that message here with the header and body. If you don't put anything in here, that completion alert will still pop up, but it will be a default message that may not be quite on brand with your messaging. So I definitely recommend that you fill this out. Finally, at the bottom, you have privacy settings. You can set this to private or public. Public is probably the more common setting, just because it's a little bit easier for people to access. If you set this as private, you will have to have the client portal set up and a password set so that they can access this form privately using a password. All right, and anytime that you make changes, you want to make sure that you save those changes up here on the right. You can just click this save and it will save the form. Or you have some additional options to save and close, which will save your changes and then close this form and take you back to the form screen. You can click Save As. If you made changes to this form, if you want to save it as a separate file from the original, you can do a Save As and make a copy. Or you can hit Save and Preview, and that will actually save your changes and then open the form in a non-editable version so you can see what the client is actually going to see. Now before we move on, let's actually take a look at one more thing out here in the form section. If you notice, questionnaires has this little arrow and none of the other form types do. What this does is it allows you to actually upload a PDF to your account, and that PDF can be sent to clients either as a hyperlink or as a form like any of your other forms. To upload one, you would click here to select a PDF, then select the PDF you want to add, and once it loads, you'll click the Add button. Now sometimes it takes a second for it to actually load, so you might try refreshing the screen. And there you can see your PDF. And when you click on it, it opens in a new tab, and it has its own link that you can use as a hyperlink. All right, and that's it for today's tidbit. For more information about receiving updates, requesting future episodes, or getting help with your own Dubsado account, check out the links in the description below this video or visit sarahleeday.com. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.